All right, so in this video today, I'm going to show you how to measure a brake drum for diameter and out of round using this tool right here, which is called a brake drum micrometer. So before we get started, let's make sure we understand how to use this tool. In the dead center, you see the numbers 6 and 6. If I take and loosen both of these lock nuts up here and slide this over till each edge lines up with one of those 6s, we would be measuring exactly 6 inches from here to this location over here. So the smallest drum that this tool can measure is 6 inches. Now say we wanted to measure 7, let's back these back out again so we can see what's going on. If we wanted to measure 7 inches, right, there's a 7 there, but there's also a 7 there. So we'd leave, right, we started with both of them in the middle, now we're just going to leave this one here where we originally started, and we're going to move this one over to this 7. So each of them is lined up with one of those 7s. We're an inch apart from where we were before, so now we're not measuring 6 inches, we're measuring 7 inches. If I want to measure 8, you notice that this one's already lined up with 1 8. I'm going to slide this one over and line up with the 8 over here. And now we're 2 inches apart from where we started, and you can see that now the distance from here to there is 8 inches. And so for 9, this will come over an inch. For 10, this will come over an inch. For 11, this will come over an inch. For 12, this will come over. And it'll just continue that until you max out the measurement capability of this tool. Okay, so hopefully that helps you understand how to set it up. But we don't know what diameter we need in general for this drum, so to start our actual measurement, we need a tape measure, and we're just going to get a general idea of how big is this drum diameter. And it looks to me like we're just under 11 1/8. So we're going to set up our tool at the 11-inch mark, which is right there, and right there. So we'll slide this over so the inside edge lines up with the 11 over here. And when you're tightening these down, make sure you're actually down in the groove so it locks into the right place. Kind of wiggle it around, make sure you're there. And then on this side, do the same thing. Line up the inside edge to the 11. Right there. Wiggle it around, make sure we're actually in it. Okay, so we're exactly 11 inches from here to here. Let's set it in there and make sure that that is big enough. So I always set in the springy side first, like that. Make sure you're held in. And if the needle is moving when you rock it back and forth, then you are within the right range. If you've maxed it out, then you're gonna have to move the tool to the next bigger notch. Like let's say it's not 11, but it was a little bit more than 11 1/8. Then I'm gonna have to slide this one over to that 1/8 mark that's right there. Or if it was a quarter, to the quarter mark, or the 3/8 or the half, or whatever increment that you need. But I think we're just under 11 1/8, so I think we're gonna keep it right there. Now when I take the actual measurement, hold on to this side right here, anchor it against it so it can't move. And then as you're rocking back and forth, you're looking for the point where that dial changes directions, where it turns around. And it looks to me like it gets up to 128 and then turns around and starts going back down. So what that means is the diameter of this drum is 11 inches plus 128 thousandths on here. So that's 11.128. Okay, that's our diameter, I think. Right, we don't know that for sure yet. What we're looking for is what the biggest reading we get is. And so then what we're going to do is measure it in another location. So pivot the drum a little bit, measure it again, pivot the drum again, another time, measure it again, pivot it again. I usually do about 6 times around that drum. Whatever the highest reading is your diameter. And then for the out of round, just take the highest and the lowest of those 6 readings, subtract them, and then you'll have it. Compare both of those to specification, and you'll know whether or not this drum is reusable / whether or not you can machine it or whatever you need to do. Okay, so that is how you use this tool called a brake drum micrometer. All right, one more thing that I forgot to mention is when you're looking at the dial, if you are exactly lined up at 11 inches perfectly, the dial will point right there to 0 like that. And so that's not all the way bottomed out. If I push, I can actually push it past that. Okay, if you're above the 0, obviously it's 11 plus whatever you're reading. When we were doing it, we were all the way over here at 128, which is about right there. Okay, so we had it set at 11. If we were right there, it would be 11 exactly. If we were right there, it would be 11 inches plus 10 thousandths, 20, 30, 40, whatever reading you get. Okay?